Tiger 2-1, this is Overlord. How copy, over?
Take this and stay down! Right now! Forward! Reloading! Cover me! You're covering! Remember! Last man! Make it count! Get it! Ammo check! I'm good! John! Last man! 80 meters! Got it! Tracer! 3 rounds left! Corporal! Hang on! Defend this position!
Hello everyone, Shooty here with the final part to my compare and contrast series. Big gap between the uploads because I did record an original version, and then I just kind of like slept on it for a bit and realized I didn't really care for it, so I wanted to take my time to really reflesh it out basically. So this is the final part to my mindless ranting, my poor editing. I think I got a little bit better over time. Anyway, so yeah, the final part, I'm gonna focus on the themes of both games, but I had a couple of honorable mentions I wanted to go through, and maybe some other stuff I wanted to touch upon real quick. The honorable mentions are the soundtracks and the level design of the games. So, real quick, the soundtrack in the new Modern Warfare MW2 2022 is it is very forgettable. There's nothing really standoutish about it, and I think that's a shame if you consider that it's coming off the heels of, or it's not really coming off the heels of, but it's a direct, what is the word I'm looking for here? It is meant to be like a remake or redo of the original Modern Warfare 2, and the original Modern Warfare 2 had a really solid soundtrack. I cannot say enough good things about the original Modern Warfare 2 soundtrack. I had to actually buy it for this review, in fact, because mainly because I wanted to have some really good, memorable music in it, but also because it turns out, for some reason, Modern Warfare 2 doesn't record the audio or the music when you hit the share play button. So it's weird. I'm not sure why they do it. They probably do it for like copyright reasons, but it's really weird that they do it. But anyway, I digress. The music in the original Modern Warfare 2 is solid. It's actually available on Amazon. The entire soundtrack, or I shouldn't say the entire soundtrack. Most of the soundtrack. There are a couple of parts or the tracks that are missing, and one in particular is the sound or the music from No Russian, and that's a really big shame because a big part of the reason why No Russians like their whole atmosphere and whatnot, it really is actually tied to that soundtrack a little bit. It really helps set the mood, so it's a shame that that one doesn't appear in the soundtrack. But regardless, soundtrack in OG Modern Warfare 2 is really good, but it's very lackluster in this game, and it's a shame because the music really helps set the mood in a lot of the levels. Along with the level design, which I'm going to get into. And I think there's two aspects to level design that are key to hit on, which is, or three aspects actually. There's the gameplay of the level, the layout of the level, and then the backdrop or the setting. Um, so in Modern Warfare 2, 2022, um, I don't have a lot of problems with their level design in the game. Uh, Not that there aren't any problems, but I think for the most part they actually did pretty okay. In fact, I would say I kind of like what they did sometimes. Sometimes it was miss. In particular, their mission, their Kmart Kmart brand all gillied up level is kind of eh. Mainly because mainly because the levels are like massive and it takes a really long time for you to get from one spot to the other. So that was kind of like poopy to me. Was just way too much uh gaps between the areas and stuff. I really feel like they could have tightened it up a bit. The other one would be when the game turns into Uncharted for a level. They have a level where you're doing the Indiana Jones Uncharted thing where you're jumping from car to car, vehicle to vehicle in a convoy, killing, and it's fun for 2 minutes, and then the level goes on for way too long. They really could have tightened that level up, made it a little shorter. Could have cut out some of the vehicle stuff and whatnot a little bit. Um, I didn't hate anything necessarily about the level design in MW2 2022. However, I will say it does not feel inspired. Um, and what I mean by that is in the original Modern Warfare 2, they use realistic settings, but they really kind of dive into like a um it they really like get artistic with the settings, particularly in um any level where Russia is invading America. Like they really want you to feel like it's like the apocalypse when you're in those levels because they literally like make everything red. The Russians are invading, so now we turn on the red filter. Um, in particular, I definitely want to point out um, of their own accord slash Second Son, which uh, it's got to be a couple of my favorite levels in the game, mainly because it's like you almost can't tell what time of day it is. Um, Technically, of their own accord and Second Son takes place all in the same night. Like the sun is setting during of their own accord. By the time Second Son starts, it's it's nighttime, and the next level after I can't remember the name of it. And actually, so this it's actually more like 3 levels, but the sun starts rising again. But the sky is so full of smoke and fire, you can't even tell what time of day it is. It's like so like it literally looks like it like the end of the world, and it really conveys like the whole theme and the whole uh just overall tone that they want to go for. The really dreary dark tone that they wanted to go for. And that's important because it does tie into the third topic I'm gonna go into in a little bit, but that's the themes of the game. I'm not gonna get that deep just yet, but it helps set the tone, which is important for anything that's a trilogy. The bottom line is that Modern Warfare 2019's levels are not bad, but they really don't have any real flavor to them, and I think that would be my real problem is the backdrops of these levels are very standard, like very like they're trying to go for like a realism and it works, but I feel like the realism is just kind of bland, and it doesn't feel interesting. It doesn't invoke any kind of real, uh, like emotions or anything like that. It's just kind of like a setting, and that's fine for a game that wants a more realistic setting. But I feel like Call of Duty it can't pick its lane. On one hand, it wants to be like GI Joe, where it's like special ops soldiers, but they have character to it, where it's like got flavor, and there's like these, like, they're kind of over the top. Um, and then on the other hand, they want to be like, um, they still want to ground themselves in reality and kind of be like on that level where that you're supposed to feel like milsim. That's the word I'm looking for, but it doesn't. It's kind of hard for those two to jive. I think. I think part of the problem with these games, the reboots the Modern Warfare trilogy, is they can't pick a lane, and I think that's something they really need to like consider in the future, is picking, do they want to be milsim, or do they want to um be the more like action, more like an action movie, like the Expendables, or like I said before, GI Joe, where they're just like these, like, over the top, are it's like military, but it's not like realistic military. Um, uh, Again, a comparison would be, it's like you have Black Hawk Down versus the Expendables. Like, one is like a remake of a realistic war, and it takes itself very seriously. The other one is dumb action schlock, and that's not a bad. And neither of those are bad. They're good. They're fun, but you got to pick a lane because they don't really mix that well. Um, so uh, that would be my complaint. Is these levels feel very just, they don't have like a lot of character to them, and I think that, and they don't really set a real tone. So, I think that would be my complaint with these levels. They function fine, and the design is fine. I don't think, except for the oil rig level, like I'm literally showing right now, I can't stand any oil rig. I can't stand oil rig levels. They're like second place in terms of bad levels. You have, or not even second, I don't know where you, it would probably be like ice levels, underwater levels, sewer levels, and then ice level, or oil rigs. Those would be like probably the order I'd put a lot of that into. So, um, that, I think that's about the gist of it. Is they really kind of just the levels are fine, and they do have a lot of like different mechanics they try to work with, and that kind of makes things fun. But I feel like they could have really honed in on the setting a tone aspect, really giving every level a character to it that kind of helps convey some kind of idea. Um, and to for the transition, um, basically these I guess what I want to get around to is the idea is important when it comes to storytelling, because ideas help set up themes, and themes are like well, a driving force in storytelling. Um and I think that's something that Modern Warfare 2019 is lacking, is any kind of real theme. So basically it's like this. They they have like, so it's kind of clear in a way that they might go into a trilogy with this. I'm not, or at least they were planning on it. I'm not sure if they're going to go into a trilogy with the new Modern Warfare games now, but the thing is they haven't. They're not doing the trilogy right. So in storytelling, when you have a trilogy, The way it works is like this. The first is meant to establish your heroes. So, prime examples of good trilogies are the original Star Wars trilogy, Back to the Future, and Lord of the Rings. Those are some prime examples for storytelling. In Star Wars in particular, we establish Luke, Princess Leia, Han Solo, Chewbacca, and then the robots. Fucking droids. They're not people, guys. I hate to break it to you. C3PO is not a person. Um, fuck robots. Anyway, so so now that we've the first movie, A New Hope, establishes our characters, who they are as people, what their motivations are, and it also establishes your threat a little bit. In this instance, it was the Empire. Now, at the end of the first movie, your characters are kind of ending at a high note where it looks like, hey, yeah, we're pretty good and we can overcome anything, right? Right, guys? Then your second installment comes along. So, The Empire Strikes Back is the second installment, and by the end of the Empire Strikes Back, Luke has got his arm cut off. Han's been captured by Boba Fett. And the Rebel base on Hoth was destroyed. So now our characters aren't winning. Now our characters are losing, and that's important in a trilogy. Is your by the end of the second act of a trilogy, your characters are supposed to be at a low point, and they're supposed to be basically knocked down a peg. And in 2019, we really don't have that low point. And I'll explain why after I explain the low point of, not 2019, excuse me, I'm sorry. In MW2 2022, we don't have that low point. And I'll explain that after I explain the low points of the original Modern Warfare 2. So in the original Modern Warfare 2, by the end of it, Task Force 141 is now disavowed. Most of the members have been killed, either by Makarov or Shepard. Price and Soap are wanted men for treason because of a lie told by Shepard. America is still being invaded by the Russians. They don't act. America has not pushed the Russians out. They may have retaken the White House, but the Russians are still calling the shots. Basic and Makarov hasn't been captured yet. So, did our heroes win at the end of Modern Warfare 2? Not really. Yeah, they got rid of Shepard, and they took back the White House, but our heroes are still at a low point because we just had our shit pushed in by some angry Russians, and Makarov got what he wanted. He set the world on fire. He got exactly what he was looking for. So now our heroes are at this point where it's like, well, what the fuck? Well, I guess we're gonna have to fix this. So, and then that's where Modern Warfare 3 picks up from. And then by the end of Modern Warfare 3, all of those loose ends get tied together. Back to our Star Wars example real quick. In Return of the Jedi, Luke becomes a better Jedi. He basically redeems his father. His father's no longer evil by the end of the movie, basically. He basically grows a conscience. And then they blow up the other Death Star, and the Emperor is killed. So our characters grow from one game to the other. And this is not something I could see happening in Modern Warfare 2 2022. In the original Modern Warfare 2, our characters are basically put in a position where they, while there's not that much character development and growing, they're still in a low point that they have to overcome. Um, there's not neither character development or characters in a low point in MW2 2022. By the end of the game, Hassan has been defeated. All the missiles have been retaken. So the only bad thing is Shepard got away. And that's not even a real issue because in the original Modern Warfare 2, Shepard was basically Task Force 141's only uh, line between the rest of the world and them. So when Shepard says that his guys have gone rogue and they're bad guys, everybody has to take his word for it because they're not communicating with Captain Price and all them. They're communicating with Shepard. In Modern Warfare 2 2022, Agent Laszlo, she knows Shepard fucked up, and she can tell literally everybody at the Pentagon or wherever that Shepard fucked up. So now Shepard's like got nothing. So what the fuck is it? Shepard's just gonna run and hide. Maybe get killed in the multiplayer. I don't know. We don't. That might be the way this goes though, because that's how they did it in 2019. Was they brought back fan favorite villains and then they killed them off in the multiplayer. So there's no real stakes. Like our bad guys are not at a low point. They just know that Makarov is suddenly a threat again, and that's about it. Can't really exactly say that can't really say that there's any real low point here. Nobody died. Task Force 141 ended this game bigger than they did in Modern Warfare 2. Where's the low point? I can't see it. It seems to me like everybody's winning. So, it's kind of hard to say that there's anything to build upon in a sequel game, other than the Shepard and Makarov stuff. But that's about it. So where do they go from here? There's no theme either to tie these together. Real quick to go jump back into Modern Warfare 2, the original. In fact, the entire Modern Warfare trilogy, there is a theme that ties all these games together, and that's revenge. There's almost endless cycle of revenge that goes on in Modern Warfare 2. It's hard to pinpoint exactly when it starts, but it's like Zakhaev and Makarov want to start a revolution, so they try to sell uranium. The UK tries to assassinate Zakhaev, but that fails, so they start their revolution anyways. When they start their revolution, they tell al-Assad to kill President, I think it's Farami. I don't know. He's not really a character in COD 4. The guy just kind of dies at the beginning of the game. America responds as a result of that, basically looking for some kind of revenge for this President Al-Falani's death. As a because of that, or basically then the whole thing again it just spirals into all sorts of different little revenges and shit. Al-Assad nukes the Americans get pissed and they go after Al-Assad and Zakayev. Because they go after Zakayev, they manage to get Al-Assad, but then Zakayev's son kills himself while they're trying to arrest him. Zakayev gets pissed, blames America and the West, so he tries to nuke the West. They stop the nukes and they kill Zakayev. That pisses off Makarov, and then on top of that, Makarov gets kicked out of the ultra nationalist party, which pisses him off even more. Oh, and by the way, Shepard's pissed that his men are dead, so he's kind of looking for a little bit of revenge. So in Shepard's quest for revenge, he basically gives Makarov a tool to get his revenge, which he does get his revenge. He gets his revenge by framing America for a terrorist attack. Russia gets pissed, so they invade America for revenge. America gets pissed, and by the end of the battle where America takes back the White House, they want to invade Moscow for revenge. You see where this is going? It keeps going. It's a cycle of revenge. It's a constant cycle of revenge where it's basically a conflict breeding conflict situation. Everybody's getting pissed at each other. Everybody, and that's kind of like a somber message is that about basically how conflict breeds conflict in a way. Um, and that's kind of the thing about the original Modern Warfare trilogy is uh, they weren't really trying to commentate on any specific real world war, and it's something that they kind of try to do in the new Modern Warfare games. And I won't get too deep into that. I feel like that will be easier to explain when I talk about Modern Warfare 2019. But the short end of it is that they specifically tried to go for a more fictionalized atmosphere because if you think about it, it fits better in it fits better with the story that they're telling. Because in real world, this is not how real world conflict works. In the real world, if for instance, a real world example would be like not to get anywhere with the topic, but the Russian-Ukraine war happening right now. That didn't happen overnight. Um, there was, I think it was a couple months of build up towards that. Probably more than a couple months. This wasn't something where one thing happened and then suddenly Putin and Russia invade Ukraine. There was a lot of background um, political stuff that led up to that conflict happening. Um, Whereas in fictional land, fictional Russia just jumps straight into the invasion of America. There's no. It's not like they decided we're gonna wait 5 months in game time to hash out our story about how that wouldn't be fun or interesting uh, story wise. And that's kind of at the end a big part of it is there's more of a focus on trying to tell an interesting story rather than telling a trying to commentate. And like I said, there's sort of a little bit of commentary on real world uh, stuff in these games. It's not heavy handed, but it doesn't work. And it's not fun. It's not cool. It's not fun. It's just kind of like ick. It's the best way I could describe it. I think I think a better I think the new trilogy would have benefited a lot more if they would have kind of stuck to what the original games were, which was a very tight-knit story with with while the original trilogy is not realistic, it feels plausible. Everything that happens in the original trilogy feels plausible, and that kind of helps suspend your disbelief. In the newer games, they're trying to go. It's like I said before, they try to mix oil and water, and it's just not sticking. So I think that there's um, a definite room for improvement aspect to all of this. Uh, and I guess that's kind of all I got to say about um, these games. Is they lack theme, and that's a shame because these games came from a place where they had a lot of theme and a lot of character to work with.
History is written by the victors.
History is filled with liars. If he lives and we die, his truth becomes written and ours is lost.
We all keep secrets, Captain. My son's blood on their hands.
You're talking to Al-Quds Force officer.
You're the commander of a foreign terror organization.
I can say the same to you.
What's your target?
There's the chopper! Get ready to jump! Go back! Go back! We'll find another way out! Top floor! Dead ahead! Let's go!
Now that I'm done with this talking about the original Modern Warfare 2, in summary, shit be pissy. But no, in real terms, I am just I've been in this place for a long time where I've seen the decline of the Call of Duty games in multiple aspects, and there's could be multiple reasons to blame this on, and to be honest, I don't think they're worth going into because I don't think anybody cares enough about any of that at this point. It's sad but true. All in all, my thoughts on MW2 2022 are there's things that are nice about it, but I feel like it needs a lot of work. And I guess that's the bottom line. So, yeah, everybody I don't know when I'm going to do the Modern Warfare 2019. It might be a little while, but I'm hoping not that much longer. I got a lot of games I want to play through before I get into that. And a couple other Shooty reviews. I'm still grinding out the multiplayer. I'm going to wait a real long time to even talk about the multiplayer because it is going to be one of those things where they're going to keep adding updates and stuff, and who knows, they might add that one update that really ruins the game. So, we'll see where that ends up. For now, though, this is the end of Compare and Contrast MW2. Take care.